So it's been quite a few years since we did an interview. It was in the pits at Calabogie after your triple header weekend. So that's got to be 4 or 5 years ago.
Could be, yeah, could be.
And a lot of things have happened to you since then.
Yeah.
And a lot of interesting things and for the good of motorsport in Canada. So would you like to tell our readers a bit about it?
Okay. Yeah, so here we are. We're in 2020. A lot of good things have been going on. We just finished our 14th season of CTCC. I think that's when we did the last interview at Calabogie.
Yeah.
And of course, we're just approaching our 1-year anniversary of ownership here at Shannonville Motorsports Park.
And like many of the rest of us, 2020 was not the year that we all expected or wanted. And, for us racers, I think we got quite lucky in Canada where we got to go racing after May, the end of May. But for you, we'll talk to Dominic a little bit later about CTCC and the limited schedule there. But how did 2020 and the COVID affect Shannonville Motorsport Park?
Well, certainly, like everyone else, it meant we had a late start to the season. Ironically, it actually helped us a little bit. Here we are, new owners, and we've got a long list of things that we want to clean up. So with the delay to the start of the season, it'll actually allowed us to do some additional maintenance and improvements before we actually opened our doors.
And my wife Janice has never been here before, but as we drove through the East Paddock and I explained how that was all just grass and gravel, she was quite impressed by all of that lovely hard pavement and everything. And from my recollection, there doesn't seem to be the water lying around that used to happen, and that was all part of the improvements that you made for the racers.
Yeah, we started early and we had some contractors in to help us with our water issues, and we did some trenching to help keep the water away from the track. In addition, when we paved part of the paddock, all the fill from the paddock, we were able to redistribute that out off the track, but actually in the runoff areas. So we've been known for having some pretty brutal runoff areas, largely because we are built on rock. But with all the excavation in the paddock area, we were able to fill in a number of corners to make them much more safer than they have been over the years. And we intend to continue to do that.
So that actually is part of the Canadian Shield out there then, is it?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go down a couple inches and run into solid rock. Other areas you may go down about 18 inches and you're still running into rock.
Now, the one thing for people that don't know about Shannonville Motorsport Park is you have various venues here for all sorts of different motorsports. You've got the road course, which is not a road course, but it's actually four. Now, does that include the go-kart track just straight out the front here, or?
That would be 5.
That would be 5. You have the drag strip, which is the main straight in some of your road, or in all your road courses, I believe, other than the closer ones.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a motocross track across the left, and you actually have an area where there's been drifting going on this year.
Yeah, so I'll correct you on one thing. The
Okay.
motocross area belongs to our neighbor.
Okay.
But our skid pad is probably one of the largest in Canada. So this year we've done a lot of drifting on the skid pad, but the skid pad is also designed to host skid school for tractor trailers.
I did see some when we were up with the Northern Speed guys that there was some trucks out there labeled for that. Okay.
And they do a number of sessions every year, and also we've had various groups testing cars on the skid pad, and we've been also fortunate to have motorcycle training occurring on the skid pad. So the new riders to motorsports or to motorcycles that are interested in getting their M2 license. We hosted a company that had about 10 weekends of motorcycle training.
So basically what you're providing here is a one-stop shop for motor fans.
We do. We've got all the aspects of motorsports covered here, be it motorcycle racing, drag racing, car racing, driver training, rider training, all over the place.
Now, remind me as to when Shannonville actually opened and how that came about.
So Shannonville opened back in 1974. It was built by a gentleman by the name of John Nelson. Today we have our first track is actually named the Nelson Course after John Nelson. So he built it initially as a motorcycle track because he was in the motorcycle sales business. It evolved into a go-kart track and then into a road racing track, and then the drag strip and skid pad were added after.
Okay, and another of your tracks out there is the Fabi track, where many people actually get confused and think it's to do with Theo Fabi, where in fact it was Bertrand Fabi, who unfortunately lost his life in the UK, I believe it was.
Yeah, so Bertrand lost his life in an F3 racing incident, and hence the Fabi track is named after him.
And it's nice that he was one of the many Canadians who have actually made their name here. I think you quote something, is it the home of champions, or...
So Shannonville is known as the birthplace of champions.
That's what it was.
So be it starting with motorcycle riders, they've gone on to compete across North America and around the world over the years. And on the car side, it's famously the home for Jacques Villeneuve. Jacques got his first training here, and he was also a mechanic on the Spinard David racing school cars.
And do you intend to look to get a Spinard David type school happening here, or is that a case of looking for a partner to come in and do that?
So we've been approached by different groups that are interested in setting up a Formula Car type school, and we'll just continue to explore that in the future.
Sounds good. One of the real interesting things with us, we've been spending a week up here in the area, and yesterday we went to a place called Picton Raceway, which was really quite famous in the 80s and the early 90s for go-karts, and it was the home of Canadian championships and stuff like that. And I'm creating a little video, and one of the things that we're saying is to racers, support your tracks, because the tracks support you. We can't have the fun if we don't support the tracks, and that comes to, you know, going out on a regular schedule, and you know, how are you finding that the racers up here are supporting you?
So we're almost at the end of our first season, and it's been a very good season. We found that the support has been extraordinary. from our Tuesday night motorcycle lapping, two-wheel Tuesdays, to our Motion Mondays for cars and other daily motorcycle and car lapping events, mix and match and everything. We've been wonderfully supported by the community at large here and the motorsport community, so we're really lucky.
Now, I know that it was only after being on the internet I found out that this coming weekend you've actually got a memorial drag race to Jim Parkhurst, who actually was a good friend of mine. Jim, we used to meet up at tracks all over. We used to meet up at the car show in Toronto, and unfortunately Jim passed away. I believe this is the 7th annual memorial, so it must have been 7 years ago. And they really try to put on a good show and support everybody.
So yes, it's the Thanksgiving weekend coming up, and it'll be the annual Thanksgiving drag race weekend. It's actually the 10th anniversary of Jim's passing, so they're planning for a unique celebration in honor of his life.
Yeah, if I'd actually known, we could have stayed longer, but other things to do. So that's a little bit about the history. So where do you see, what is your plans for 2021 as long as this COVID all goes away?
So we're 1 year in and we still have many more years to go. We have a strategic plan to revitalize the birthplace of champions, and you've seen some of the improvements so far. We have a long list of improvements, and we just intend to continue to enhance the safety of the track and enhance the amenities here. We're really just trying to elevate the whole facility to attract not just our regular customers back, but to attract corporate Canada in the future.
Now, one of the things that Janice noticed as we drove in was just the huge grandstand you have.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that you don't find at other tracks in Ontario. So how do you see us pulling in spectators to events so that, nothing would be better than to see that grandstand full at events?
Sure. And once COVID breaks, we'll work very hard to fill the grandstand. We expect it to be full, and we're confident that it will be.
Well, thanks for the update, and we look forward to next year. And now it's going to be your wife's turn to get grilled.